Here. Now, if you remember the rule, great. Okay, but if you don't, you can just think to yourself, okay, what does this mean? This means, right? That's what this means. And then what does this mean? This means this, right? So then how many total n's do I have? I have n to the 7th power. And I can observe like, oh, I added those right. Okay. Here, again, if you remember the rule, great. If you don't, that's okay. This is 5 n's. Look, this is this times itself. So that's this. How many n's is that? You can count, right? It's 5 n's 2 times. That's n to the 10th. Okay. Again, if you remember the rule, cool. If you don't, you don't. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And down here, there's 1, 2, 3. I cancel, 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 right? So I had 8 n's up here. I took 3 away. I canceled 3, and I'm left with 5. Let's take a look here. Again, right, you can use the rules, but you can always fall back on, look, this is 3 times A 5 times, B 2 times. Now look, it's that 3 times. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to be lazy. I'm not going to actually write it 3 times, but I'm going to write it like visually so I can see it. So now I'm imagining this says 3 times 3 times 3. So let's do that first. What's 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. This is 5 A's, and there's another 5 A's here and another 5 A's here. So that's 5 plus 5 plus 5, or 5 times 3, that's 15. There's 2 B's here, right? And then there's another 2 B's here and another 2 B's here. So that's 2 plus 2 plus 2, or 2 times 3. That's B to the 6th. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Always, always, always. Anything to the 0 power is the number 1. Here, x to the 5th, this is fully simplified. There's nothing I can do to that. But this negative exponent, remember what that means? It means it's on the wrong side of the fraction. So like right now, this is a fraction that's like has 1 on the bottom. So what this is going to become is the x to the 5th is going to stay where it's at because that exponent is positive. But this y to the negative 4th, that says, hey, I'm not happy. I'm negative. I'm in the wrong spot. Okay, this comes down to the bottom. Let's take a look here. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do first. I'm going to bring my fraction. I'm going to bring this squared. I'm not going to touch that squared yet because what I noticed is that I have like n's on the bottom and n's on the top. I can simplify that. I'm going to do that first before I square it. It's not wrong to square it first. It's just more work. So look, these n's right here, look, that's this. That's 4 n's over 1 n. 1 cancels. So look, this 7, the 7 and 5 don't simplify. I'm going to leave the 7 there. I'm going to leave the 5 here. The n's, what I'm left with when I cancel this 1 n is 3 n's on top. So that's n to the 3rd. Now look, the p's. This right here, this is p to the 2nd. That's this over p to the 7th. So what is that? This cancels, cancels. I'm left with p to the 5th, look, on the bottom. So that's here. Okay, now I'm going to square everything. Okay, so this is basically this. This is 7 times n times n times n. This is 5 and 5 p's, right? And it's twice. Now, you might have a shortcut. That's okay. I'm going to do it the long way. 7 times 7 is 49. This is n times n times n times n times n times n. That's 6 n's. Okay, and that makes sense. Look, so far I did 7 squared. That was 49, 7 times 7. And then this was 3 n's 2 times. That was 6. And then here I have 5 times 5. That's 25. And this is p, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 p's. Okay, right? That was 5 p's 2 times. That's going to be 10 p's. And here's my answer. Let's take a look here. Okay, look, it's still like 2 separate parts. So I'm going to simplify each part and then combine them. So this part, right, this is a times b 5 times. So let's think about what that's going to mean. That's 2 a's 5 times. That's going to be a to the 10th. This is 1b 5 times. That's going to end up being 5 b's. Okay, now over here, I'm going to simplify this and then we'll combine them. This is going to be 7 times a times b times b times b, and it's 2 times. So that's going to be 7 times 7. That's 49. This is going to be a times a. That's a squared. And this is going to be b times b times b 2 times. So that's going to be b times b times b times b times b times b. That's a total of 6 b's. Okay, now let's put it all together. So first we put the number out front, so I'm going to put the 49 out front. Here I have 10 a's being multiplied, so this is a times a times a times a, 10 times. And then there's another 2a's, so this is a times a times a, 10 times a times a, 2 more. So that's a total of 12 a's. Over here I have 5 b's, so b times b times b times b times b times b times b, 6 more times, so that's 5, and another 6, so 5 plus 6 is 11. Here I have a negative exponent on the inside. Let's deal with that first. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep the parentheses, I'm gonna keep the 3, but I'm gonna make this into a fraction. Look, and you can imagine it's already a fraction, if you want. This 4 is good. The 4 is fine, the 4 is happy, it doesn't have a negative exponent. This a is unhappy, it has a negative exponent. It says, I don't wanna be here, I don't wanna be on the top, I wanna be on the bottom. And then I put it on the bottom and say, oh, now I'm happy, now I have a positive exponent. And then this b stays on the top because that has a positive exponent. Okay, so now it just becomes kind of like this problem, right? Where I'm just gonna multiply this 3 times. And again, I'm gonna write it out the long way. Maybe you have a shortcut, but look, I'm gonna write 4 b times b on the top, and this is 5 a's on the bottom. Now watch, it's 3 times. So I'm not gonna actually write it 3 times, but I'm gonna write it like this. So this is 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. This is b times b, times b times b, times b times b. So that's a total of 6 b's, right? That's 2 b's 3 times. This is 5 a's times another 5 a's times another 5 a's. So that's a total of 5, 10, 15 a's. Okay, last one and the hardest. There's a few different ways to approach this, but for me, I hate this negative on the outside. That feels like very confusing to me. So what I like to do is right away, what that negative means, that negative exponent means everything inside these parentheses is unhappy. It's all in the wrong place. So I'm gonna make it positive, and then watch what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna flip everything over. So I'm gonna write what's on the bottom, and I'm gonna put that on the top, and then I'm gonna take what's on the top, and I'm gonna put it on the bottom. Okay, now, so I've done that. I got rid of this negative, right? That was my first goal. Now I notice there's things, look, I'm gonna just keep my parentheses, keep my 3, keep my fraction. I notice there's things inside the fraction that are unhappy. The 3 is fine, the 3 is not unhappy, the 3 doesn't have a negative exponent, okay? But this z is unhappy, right? The z has a negative exponent, so I'm gonna move it down to the bottom. And notice I'm putting it over here because I wanna put the numbers in the front. So now that negative 3 becomes a positive 3 because now it's happy. This 4, that 4 doesn't have a negative exponent, it's all good. The x squared also doesn't have a negative exponent, that x squared is all good. This y to the negative 5th, that's gonna come up here to the top, right? It's unhappy here at the bottom, it's gonna be happier up at the top. And now, I'm doing all of this 3 times, okay? So look, I'm gonna come down here. This is 3 times 5 y's, right? This is 4 times 2 x's and 3 z's. And it's all of that 3 times. So again, I'm not gonna write it, but I'm just gonna be able to visualize it this way. So this is gonna be 3 times 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. This is y times y, this is 5 y's, another 5 y's, and another 5 y's, all being multiplied. That's 5, 10, 15 y's. This is 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. Okay, and this is x times x, times x times x, times x times x, so that's 2 x's, 3 times. That's x to the 6th. And this is z times z times z, z times z times z, z times z times z. So that's z, that's 3, 6, 9 z's. That's my answer.